Mwah. Mwah.
I somehow managed to do this just about every single stream where I forget to unmute my mixer and accidentally leave game sounds on. I don't know how I do it. Anyways, greetings. I'm Morgan Titian, your resident changeling. Welcome to the stream. I see Lily Peach is already in chat, and we were just discussing that she'd been following for 8 months, 5 days, 2 hours, which is longer than I've been streaming. If my math is correct, that means that she was following since probably around the end of February. Trying to think of what went on during that time that somebody may have found me. I can't even remember. But then again, I wasn't really paying much attention to my own Twitch at that time because I didn't start streaming until mid-September. But definitely glad to have anyone and everyone here who wants to show up. And it's actually heartwarming to see somebody who's been following for so long, even though I haven't been streaming for that long. But yes, welcome on in. Lily, if you haven't made any of my streams before, I am a changeling. Oh, hey, Faye Lily, welcome to the stream. I am a changeling. I have a few different commands here, and one of them is a forms command. All those pictures that you see on the wall over there are different forms I can change into. Male, female, doesn't matter, it's changelings. We'll do just about any form. And those are the ones that I have currently set up to broadcast to the digital sphere, to the internet. And same with me even being able to talk to you. You've probably noticed I don't have a mouth. Changelings don't have mouths. One second here. Just have to set something up over there. Sorry. Yeah, changelings don't have mouths. We don't need them. We communicate telepathically. Following you before I start streaming, must have met you in someone's chat. Yes, exactly. So I was trying to remember whose chat we may have met in. I think around that time, well, the entire time that I've been involved with Twitch, as you can see just above there, Zathernalina, or Zathy for short, was the one who got me involved in the VTuber community. So even from last year at this time, I was mainly in her chats. But since then, I've met people like Lasana and Sagiki Hori, and around February, March, I think I was in people's channels such as Miss Ice Heart. I didn't find Wineria until probably April, that type of thing. Oh, thanks, Liz. Yeah, so that is her channel. I do have a command here for Zathy as well. So yeah, we were just trying to figure out how Lily and I met each other. Popcorn Every Night and Mitsuko Chan are both my old usernames. Okay, so it's probably related to Popcorn, because back then my name used to be on Twitch Kernel of Popcorn. So that's probably how we found each other. We probably friended each other because we both had popcorn names. So that's probably exactly it. But yeah, as Lasana had pointed out, there is a shout out for Zethernalina there, and I also have my own command for directing people to her Discord if they are interested. We are having a memorial stream this Saturday on December the 4th, starting at 2 p.m. EST. It will be on the Fay Live groups channels if anybody is interested. Just trying to wrap up this spot on Zathy here before I get sidetracked again. But all the information that we have so far is in Zathy's Discord. I am a mod in that Discord, and I was her mod for the majority of the time that she was able to stream. And my cat is being a brat. Keep nudging my monitor there. So yeah, like I was saying, all the information is in Zathy's Discord if you are interested. She was a lovely, lovely, lovely person that was taken from us way too soon. So yeah, I encourage anybody who is curious or who had not heard the news yet and knew Zathy, definitely go peek into her Discord, find out what's going on. All the information is there. But yeah, moving on from there, just welcoming in Lily Peach Zero, who I likely met when they were known as Popcorn Every Night, as well as Queen Fay Lily. Welcome both of you to the stream. Usually around this point in the stream, I would thank people who had followed offline, but this time all the follows were from my last stream. So leave it at that for now. 1 second, I had to deal with this brat of a cat. Come here, you. No. Don't bite me. If you're not going to be good, you don't get to stay in the room. Okay, so I think I've got him away from trying to swat at the mic. Last thing I want is to deafen everybody with bats to the mic from a cat paw. As cute as that is when he does it, it's not good for people on the other end. Yeah, so today we are going to be playing, sorry, I'm still playing with the cat here, petting him, so distract him from the mic. We are going to be playing Dishonored 2. When I first started streaming, Dishonored was the first game I played. We played through all of it, and then we jumped right into Dishonored 2 after that. We are about halfway through it. So feel free to stick around. Be aware, we are halfway through the game, so there will be spoilers, and I'm just seeing now. Oop. Come on, cat. He's put his tail in my face. I just noticing now, I forgot to include the spoiler tag, because there will be spoilers. Or maybe the spoiler tag is in there? Yes, it is. Why can't I see it at the bottom? Oh, there it is now. Okay. I didn't see it before. Maybe I'm just blind. So yeah, we are halfway through the game, so there will be spoilers. The game is a few years old, but if you are interested in playing a very awesome stealth, adventure, action type first-person shooter, RPG, whatever the official title is, you can see the tags in the description of the channel there. If you're interested in playing those types of games, this is a really fun game to play. I would encourage you to start with Dishonored 1. There's a lot of story that is carried over between the two. But today, we are going to go through with, I believe it's the third or fourth mission. I don't usually count the tutorial missions as actual missions, but I think the game counts them. So the game might call this the fourth. I usually call it the third. This is our third Dishonored 2 stream anyways. So that's usually how I count by. And I usually try and get through 1, maybe 2 missions each session. Just because sometimes they can be longer, like this one. I actually ended my last stream a little bit early because I knew we did not have enough time to get through this mission before the end of the night, because this is a long mission. All right. That being said, I'm going to unmute the game sounds here, and I'll get us switched over to the game screen. All right. Being spoiled is fun. Yeah, if you don't mind spoilers, then by all means stick around. This is a very fun game in my opinion. Now, when we're first getting started here, as we continue, we might see a little bit of a lag spike. We got a little bit of a lag spike when we played the first little bit that the game ran in the last two streams. So it usually goes away. Yeah, so you see at the top there, number 4, we're located at the Dreadful Whale, which is the name of the ship. So the game counts this as mission 4. But we are looking to get to the home of Kiran Jindosh. He's grand inventor to the Duke of Serkonos. And the last we had heard, our friend, mind blanking. Wow. Anton Sokolov, that's his name. Our friend Anton Sokolov has been kidnapped and was last seen being taken to his mansion.
I need Anton Sokolov, but he's missing. Held by another inventor named Kiran Jindosh, who no doubt wants whatever secrets Sokolov holds in his head. Jindosh is the mad inventor who armed Karnaca with clockwork killing machines, the city where I grew up and trained, where I won the Duke's tournament when I was still a boy. They say the clockwork soldiers are the equal of Karnaca's best fighters now. I'm going to put that to the test. Rescue one genius and cage the other before he creates an army of clockwork soldiers.
So in the a little bit intro thing, in the original trailer for this game, this was actually one of the missions that was highlighted as like different snippets of the mission. So it's a very well-known mission. So from Megan. Dr. Hypatia needed a place to sleep, so I cleared the stuff out of the spare cabin. I was able to sell most of it. Here's what's left of the money. It's not a lot, I know. Whale oil is expensive, under Imperial rationing decree, but you know that. Megan Foster. Alright, so we got 100. And that 100 gold, and they were talking about Hypatia. We spared Hypatia in the last mission, so that is our little reward from it. We'll write in the travel log. That just fills in information. I'm not too worried about the travel log here, because I have done it in other playthroughs, and it's the same in each playthrough. But there is an achievement for completely filling out the travel log. And then, of course, lores and maps and stuff. What do I have for powers availability? I've only got 2 runes. I need 4 for this, but I don't need to use that right now, so we already covered that. Sorry, just trying to... unfortunately, I do not have a Discord set up yet. That's something I've been looking to set up, and I was actually about to start looking into it 2 weeks ago when we got the news that Zathi had passed away. So I've been focusing mostly on getting things ready for the memorial stream. So starting next week, I'll be looking more into setting up a Discord for everyone to join in. Because I'm starting to get more and more people who are asking about it. So that is coming. It's just not ready yet. In the meantime, if you do want to connect with me on Discord, just a little bit up in the chat log, there is Zathi's Discord. I am very active there. So if you do want to connect with me, that is one way to find me. And then once I get my Discord up and running, then I will make sure that there is a command for that. But thanks for the interest. I definitely appreciate it. Oh, I want greater blink. That'll be fun. so we're going to take a look at our bone charms here. So we need to sacrifice one if we want to create a new one. Don't need that. I'm trying to go a more non-lethal route right now. I don't think we can get that one. Enemies miss more often with range attacks, but more visible. Don't need that. I might do fire starter. So like I just finished saying that I'm going non-lethal now. I'm talking about burning things. I know. In this game, there is a environmental threat called blood flies, and the easiest way to deal with their nests is with fire. And if you have a larger blast radius with your fire bolts, then it tends to clear them out easier. So it is a good one to have, even if you're doing a non-lethal run. Don't need drop assassination. Blast chance from explosives might be good. And I get a raw whalebone. And I have enough to do for, you know what, I'm going to go with the fire starter. So what we have to do is sacrifice an existing bone charm. We learn the traits that it gives us. So now what we can do, if we go back, we can now craft a bone charm, and we can actually craft one with 4 traits. And across all the bone charms that you have equipped, you'll see this one has 4 red dashes. This one now only has 1. Across all of your bone charms that you can have maximum of 4 with the same trait. So you can stack all of the same traits on one set of 4 bone charms, or you can have several of lesser ones if you like. I prefer to do it all on the same bone charm so you know exactly what you're getting. And then because of my upgrades, I have a low chance of corruption with this. And corruption just means it gives a negative effect as well. And there we are. We've got all of the ones with no downside. And then we can go over to the equip screen here. And we can equip our crafted one of Bone Charm 3. And Bone Charm 2, you can see this is one that did get corrupted. And it gives us 4 different chances to consume 0 mana when using our powers. But it does increase falling damage. So if I fall, I'm probably going to die. Which isn't too bad. And then, yeah, I've got some of these that honestly, like, I'm never going to use, like the drop assassination, or the exacting aim, but I just have them in there just in case type thing. So that should be it for filling out things in the menu. There's something else. Oh, Synchrone guitar. Alright. Don't think there's anything else here. Nope. We can also... Oh, I leaned over. Goodbye, Karnaka. Musician's farewell. Well, it was pure luck, but I managed to get myself passage to Morley aboard a decent ship. The Dreadful Whale, it's called. Is that a mistake? Shouldn't it be the Dreadful Whale, like Sea Beast? I didn't want to risk pointing something like that out to the captain, the foster lady. She looks like the sort to dump a disagreeable passenger overboard without a second thought. And on the 14th, goodbye, Karnaka. I won't miss you. Times are getting bad there. I don't know what's more unbearable, breathing mine dust all day long, or hearing the constant ramblings of Duke Luca Abel over the street speakers. Every bar I played in, some drunk asked me to sing a song either making the Duke sound like a hero of the people, or the opposite, the worst villain in a generation. I got sick of it pretty fast. It will take a few weeks to get to Morley, give or take some days, depending on the currents and the winds. But I appreciate the company of Captain Foster and the other passenger, a Tivian scholar, I think. I try to help out around the boat as much as I can, cooking, cleaning, repairing stuff. Playing the guitar for them at night. I hope they don't throw me to the sharks when they find out that I'm dirt broke. I won't be able to pay my fare when we reach Morley. On the 19th. Morleyan food seems to suit Captain Foster. She likes the way I use lots of sugar and toss a shot of whiskey into all my recipes. Even if she groused at the end of the week of how many of the supplies I'd gone through. On the 24th. Spent the night on the deck with Megan and Anton, though he slept in a chair nearby, wrapped in a goat hair blanket that looked like it hasn't been washed since it was on the goat's back. I played the guitar, while Megan and I drank rum and whiskey, singing sad old Sir Conan ballads, and giving silly names to the stars. She even hummed along with me when she got drunk enough, but mostly preferred just to listen. Said I had the same voice as someone she knew once, a long while back. Off and on, I hear her playing the same old audiograph in her cabin, making me wonder if that's who she was talking about. Maybe I'm feeling jealous. 28th. What a fool I am, trying to kiss Megan down in the engine room. She didn't even yell, just smiled a sad smile, like you would at a child who still believes in night spirits. Tomorrow we'll reach Morley, and I'll disappear as quietly as I can. I decide to leave her my Sir Conan guitar as a souvenir, and the only payment I can afford. I hope she'll forgive me, and that she'll find whoever she's looking for. Alright.
Just want Anton back here, safe and sound.
You and me both.
You might want to talk to Hypatia before we head out. She's taken one of the rooms, just for a while, I think. Needed to be away from Admire.
Don't blame her. So Admire is where we found Hypatia's medical institute, and she had a bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing going on. Drain engine room, another week, another leak. I wasted hours on it and couldn't get it stopped. I'll shut the water off, assuming if I can find the crank wheel. Something to deal with once Sokolov is safe. That's something for us to deal with, actually.
Grand Guard. Trying to... Oh, you're here.
Yeah, but I'm reading your notes first. Dr. Hypatia's notes. On a boat. With friends, I believe. I slept. Thankfully, without the usual nightmares. Perhaps the sea air does me good. The captain, Megan Foster, brought me some tea earlier. Such an interesting woman. She seemed to understand about my strange, disjointed memories and the feelings of dread that accompany them. As soon as I am able, I must return to Admire. So much of the last few months seems a blur. What was I accomplishing? What of my research into serums for the Black Spittle? My work was so easily derailed. I can only conclude I was suffering from a complete exhaustive breakdown. I will need time to recover.
Stay with me a moment.
Hypatia, what can you remember? I need to find Anton Sokolov. He might be the key to unraveling the Duke's plans.
My memories are disjointed. The Duke is close to his grand inventor, Kirin Jindosh. But that man has the empathy of a mantis. He seems to both admire and despise Sokolov. We visited Aramis Stilton. I liked him. But something bad happened. Just snatches of memory. Sorry.
You should rest easy for a while. Maybe some of that will help.
I hope so. I'm not sure I even fully understand what you did for me, but I owe you for helping me at Admire. Thank you.
Crystal cider. Alright, nothing else in there worth looting.
Megan must be up on deck.
Not going up on deck yet.
Ramsey and the Crown Killer. 2 pieces of the puzzle. More to go.
Yeah, this is our tracking wall, I guess you could say. It's kind of linked to Luca Bell right now and Delilah. So for those who were not here for the first 2 missions, Delilah is the main antagonist right now. We were in the throne room. I There was some sort of ceremony. I can't remember exactly what it was for. But first of all, Duke Luca Bell showed up. He showed up to be like, paying his respects to the Empress. But also Delilah showed up, claiming that she was the sister to the previous Empress, the current Empress's mother, and through being supported by Luca Bell, she basically staged a coup and she encased our daughter. Although we do not hold the title of Emperor, she is our daughter. Encased her in stone, so we are trying to find a way to undo it. So she is the key to everything. She is linked to a bell, and these other two here, this first guy that was eliminated, as well as the murders from what they called the Crown Killer, which was framing ourselves and Emily, our daughter, in a bad light. They're both linked to Luca Bell. And then Jindosh and Sokolov, they're both linked to the Jindosh mansion, because that's where they both are right now. Can't take that yet. This is a painting of Delilah. I will take coins. Yes, please. A lecture on bloodfly fever. So I was talking about the bloodflies earlier. This is a little bit of backstory for them. Transcript of a lecture given by the Academy of Natural Philosophy from Dr. Alexandria Hypatia. We read this last mission, but I'll read it again just for people who weren't here last time. Direct attention to Chart 7. Here you have the final stage of bloodfly infection. This patient is 37 years of age and was a school headmistress before her unfortunate encounter with a large nest in her deceased uncle's greenhouse. Note the lesions on her face and arms, and the larval swellings throughout the body. But what the drawings cannot show you is her demeanor before death. The most striking symptoms of progressed infection is the protective attitude demonstrated towards the nest. This tells us, even prior to autopsy, that the larvae, or their byproducts, have infected the intention center of the victim's brain. Direct attention to Silvergraph Image 4. There is no cure once the condition has advanced this far, though you can make your patient less agitated with generous dosing of opiates. The subject died 3 days later after the Silvergraph was taken. Direct attention to Chart 8. And here is the fully mature insect, after its post-bloodfly transformation. Now in beetle form, note it has dropped its wings. It is no longer aggressive and has many beneficial qualities, especially in the field of agriculture. Without these insects, many crops across Serkonos would suffer, leading to a loss of yield and a marked reduction in profits.
That wasn't here before. Botany and diseases.
Secondary gift to study. On the effect of winds on the Karnakan landmass and resulting economic positions. Whale oil. Liquid power. How astonishing that within these beasts, inside the oil harvested along with their flesh, was enough power to see the isles through these tumultuous years. And it all seemed limitless. But now the lights begin to dim. Our fisher folk say the great beasts are increasingly rare. Not all places will suffer the loss equally, fellow natural philosophers. Karnaka has a unique feature. The cleft in Shindare Peak, through which the winds are channeled and amplified. As whale oil begins to run short, with the cost of finding the remaining leviathans escalating beyond the worth of the oil itself, Karnaka will find itself ascendant among the isles. Just going from oil to wind power there. Need this. Drop that for a second, actually. Check back here. I don't think there's anything else to check back here. We already checked here last mission. That's why it's kind of roughed up a bit. We had to break into here to get something. And we already read that. And that. Alright. And away we go. I'm getting a little look turned around here. Ah, here's the downstairs. Here. And turn this off. I can't remember what turning off the water was supposed to get us. We do get the Blood of the Abel House. Chapter 4, Introduction. This chapter will focus on Edithia Abel, steward of Calero. With sword in hand, she swept through marshes of raiders, sacrificing her life for Serkonos. We will provide newly uncovered insights into the exploits of Rabinos Abel, who built the ornate wooden bridges of Sagunto. Follow along as we map through the expansions occurring under the Abels, through which trade routes to the other isles were established, bringing riches to the northern state. Even as waves of settlers continued to join Serkonos from Morley, the Abels balanced growth against Serkonan culture. In later chapters, we will detail the times of Theodonis Abel, true son of Serkonos. Brave and benevolent, he united the East and West. Hey, Tinsera! Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the raid. There we go. I actually remembered to use my commands this time. Welcome, raiders. Welcome, welcome. I am Morgan Titian, your resident changeling. Welcome to the stream. I hope your Just Chatting stream went a little bit well at the end there, Tinsera. I saw right before I started that you had lost internet, so I'm glad you managed to get it back. But welcome. Hope everything went well. Hope you didn't lose any progress in your game. And I think you were playing Minecraft before, if I remember correctly. Hope you didn't lose anything. I can't remember if you have a hosted world or if it's if you play on somebody else's system or not. But yes, welcome to the stream, raiders. Welcome, Moshino. I've seen you in Tinsera's chat. Welcome, Willis. For those of you who are new to the chat, to the stream, a little bit further up in the chat log, you will see a link to the commands that are available. In lieu of using channel points, because I don't have affiliate active, I use the stream elements commands, and you can find them there. It was odd. Everything was okay, but the connection to Twitch was cut. Okay, maybe it was a problem to Twitch itself. But yeah, either way, you got back working, which is the important bit. Hey, Nem, how's it going? Oh. There we go. Sorry, I accidentally closed this book that I was in the middle of reading when I tapped back in. Yeah, so unfortunately, because your stream was offline when I was about to get started, I don't think because it's in another tab and it's not a focus tab, it didn't resume watching on your stream. Yeah, it's okay if you lurk. We love lurkers here. I think most streamers love lurkers. They really are the backbone of Twitch. But we were just going through the Blood of the Abel House. We're actually still on the boat, pre-mission here. We haven't actually gone to the mansion yet, and we're already a half hour into the stream. Yes, we tested it and then chatted for a bit. I won't get the chance to raid you on Sunday, so I thought it was a good chance. Yeah, I appreciate it. Someday, one of these days, I'll have to try and figure out a way that I can stream early enough to be able to raid you back. Because it seems that you're always streaming before me. Probably has something to do with you being in the EST time zone and me being in Mountain Time. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for the heart. So we were just talking about here, we're on the last section, but if anybody wants to do a quick read, they can read through them as I'm reading the last bit. In later chapters, we will detail the times of Theodonis Abel, true son of Serkonos. Brave and benevolent, he united the East and West as no other before him. Even the rowdy people of Bastilian swore loyalty to him. One isle, one Serkonos, united under House Abel. Lastly, we will settle on Luca Abel, who rules today partaking in feasts and merriments of all kinds, bringing joy to our fair isle. Although it's probably propaganda because nobody likes Luca Bell. I forget what the point of disabling that water was for. Because with that water over here, I think you can't get over here. But there's nothing in this electric cabinet aside from this book. I don't think there's a hatch that goes above. Get off that pole. I don't think it extends over here. Interesting. Well, I guess it just helped out Megan anyways. Oh, and this is privy. We don't need to be in there. Alright, so Megan's over there. I don't think there's much that we have that we can get here. It's making the whispering sound as if there is something for us to get. Interesting. Open that. This hatch leads to Sokolov's chambers. That's how he is abducted, actually. And counting. I'm not going to read through boring accounting, but interesting that's just left lying out there. I'll be back in a few, Morgan, after I heat up some food. Yeah, by all means, take care of yourself. I know what it's like after a stream and you're feeling a little bit hungry. Why is there a second crank wheel? Ah, Megan Foster's notebook. I'm starting to understand why Anton wanted to go to Dunwall to seek Corvo's help. He's impressive. I have to wonder if he's really suited for palace life. Maybe he wonders that himself sometimes. We could have been good friends at a time when I was running across the rooftops like he is now, watching my enemies from the shadows. I just hope he's breathing tomorrow morning, so I can complain when he puts his dusty boots on the table again. I've lost so many friends. First my sweet Deirdre, others along the way, good old Aramis Stilton, who disappeared 3 years ago, and now Anton. Maybe this is my punishment. I'm bad luck. Please, Corvo, bring him back. I plan on it. Anyways, I'm going to take this crank wheel right back downstairs, because there might be a second section where you need this crank wheel. Oh, went back into the chambers. It's the next intersection I take a left on. Just that valve. And interestingly, there's no matching valve on this side, although there's a hatch right there, same as the other side. Where is this supposed to go? Interesting. Let's go talk to our friend here, Megan.
Let's hope your friend doesn't sink the boat while we're gone. Ready?
I am ready.
Let's go.
All right, let's get underway.
Put on our super spooky, scary mask. We're now heading to the Clockwork Mansion. So while this loads, I'm actually going to take a very quick break, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Be right back. Oops. All right, I have returned. Just get myself back at my desk here. Of course, once I got back up here, my found my cat right on my chair, so I'd kick him off of it first. Such a brat. But he's my brat. All right. So we are going to the Clockwork Mansion. So we are going to the Clockwork Mansion. There we go. Took a second.
Jindosh is important to the Duke's inner circle. The Grand Guard watches his mansion, harassing people who look like trouble.
You said there's a wall of light cutting off access to the carriage station.
Yes, but there's a black market shop nearby. They sell on the sly. Ever use a rewiring tool?
Yes, but it's been years.
Good. Get past the wall of light, then ride the carriage to where Jindosh lives. And there's a reason people are afraid of his mansion.
I'll see you after it's done.
Corvo, take care of this crazy man and his clockwork soldiers, then bring Sokolov back. He means a lot to me.
Of course I'll bring him back. He means a lot to me too. Mostly he has information that I need. Alright. Time to go on a looting spree. So in this game, in addition to those coins I just picked up there, that little vial of whale oil and the copper coil I picked up, they're just essentially fancy coins. As soon as you pick it up, the game transforms it into a coin value. So they're just a way for more immersion, I guess. That's a dead body. But that's also raw whale bone that I will take gladly. And... okay. The closest is that rune up there. I'm going to lock that one. But we might come across another one first before we can actually get to that one. We will see. Alright, nothing on the tables? Nope. So yeah, if you'll see this processed whale oil, as soon as I pick it up on the right hand side, 10 coins. That's all it is. It just immediately transfers it to coins. Not going that way. So yeah, I'm going through trying not to be seen a whole lot. You don't have to go through super stealth. I just like to. Wow, that looks uncomfortable. His face is actually like melded with the wall here. Wow. Okay. So this is what we saw earlier, is the Outsider Shrine. Whenever you access a shrine, you get a vision of the Outsider, who gives you your powers.
I'll tell you a story about Kirin Jindosh, the Duke's grand inventor. Once he was commissioned to make a toy for a 6-year Tivian noble girl. Jindosh worked for 3 months and built a machine composed of wood, brass, and the bones of several cats. It ran on a few drops of whale oil a day. The little girl was told she would have a special treat, and she was perfectly delighted until the moment it was activated. She lives in an asylum up at Dabakfa now, and will until the end of her days.
Ooh. That's dark. Ah, welcome back, Tinsera. Enjoy your food. Enjoy the noms. Alright, possession is fun, but I do like me some blink. Actually, what do you think, Tinsera? I've got enough to get rank 1 of possession or rank 2 of blink. Not enough for bend time. I could get wind blast, but that's more lethal. And Rat's Devouring Storm is definitely lethal. Anything in particular you want to see me use? Whispers from the Void by Barnoli Mulani. Treatise on the physical existence of that foreign realm. It is a common story. A person has stopped breathing, pinned under carriage wheels, or some other tragic happenstance, and is thought to be dead. But when the weight is removed, they make a quick recovery. But nonetheless, for a moment or two, this person was lost to us, lost to the world itself. Every time I see in this game, I like the blink. Seems very useful upgrade. Yeah, I think I'll do that then. Thanks. And what did they experience while they were in this temporary death? Darkness? Nothingness? No, indeed not. They tell us, as many before have, that they were in a particular place and can describe it vividly. And who among us does not know the place? Have we all not seen it in our dreams? This place we share, in the farthest reaches of our minds, the realm where nothing makes sense, where one is at once both lost and at home. The Void. And just a regular old thud, just breaking things to get some valuables that I like. The second volume, Whispers from the Void. These little glimpses of the void in dreams or described by those awoken from comas are not limited to select few. In my interviews, I've gleaned that there is not a single citizen without such visions at one time or another. This, then, must be a real place, not folklore or mass delusion. Perhaps it exists deep below the earth, or far above it. Perhaps it is right next to us, but hidden. Some trick of the light or wondrous curtain bars us from fully knowing it. And we all but wait for a natural philosopher to unlock the phenomenon, to show us how to see it at will. But when so revealed, it will not be a fearsome place any longer, not the distant and special realm described in the myth of the outsider. No, it'll be strange, yes, even unsettling, but nonetheless it will be a new realm for us to explore and eventually conquer. What new treasures await us there? Are the lakes made of liquid diamond? The clouds of weightless silver gas? And what things we would learn? So many theories on the void. Nobody has it correct. Alright, powers, blink. Right. Actually, Tinsera, I have two upgrades I can get with blink. I've got one, which is greater blink, which is a longer range on it, both vertically and horizontally. Or I can have a redirective blink. Time stops if you aren't moving while aiming blink. Now, if you saw our playthrough of the what's the DLC name? Knife of Dunwall. Yeah. So if you saw the playthrough of Knife of Dunwall, that's the style of blink that one of the other characters had, where as long as you don't move, your time stops, so you can like blink around corners and stuff. Yeah, okay. We'll upgrade that. And I'll be able to show that off in just a moment. Ooh, bathing salts. Are bathing salts worth more than whale oil? Completely unnecessary to bar that door. We can just hop over that. Okay, here we go. So this is what I was... Oh, I don't have any incendiary bolts. No! Always have a problem with timing in stealth games. Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. I know I've made several mistakes in this game, in this playthrough alone. It's a lot easier to play these games solo, in the sense that, oh no, it's self-flammable. You don't have a bunch of people just watching you, or you're not trying to make things entertaining for content. When I went through and I got all the achievements in both these games, a single level could take like 2 to 3 hours to like constantly redo, or just take it that slowly, or anything like that. So you see right now how time just stops when I'm trying to use this. And I can actually jump over here. And it's only when I touch my keyboard that time actually moves. I'll pickpocket it. Why not? I want some of that stuff though. One stealth game I was decent and liked was Thief. I don't think I've ever really played Thief. Maybe I should go back and play it. A lot of classic games, and I think Thief is one of the classics. I think it's from like the PS2 era, if I remember correctly. Oh geez, there's so many of them. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I just want in here. Oh, jeez. I need to find something flammable, I think. Or I can just fight him. Yep, I think I'm just gonna fight him. They will damage you, but if you keep swinging your sword, it'll generally turn out okay. Eventually, they'll no longer be threatening. Thought I could find something flammable. But part of the reason to attack these is to get the blood amber, which is actually worth a decent amount of money. I love the concept of shooting water arrows to extinguish candle lights. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, stuff like sleep darts, I'll think. Bloodfly husk. And doing stuff like elemental type arrows definitely is pretty rad. Especially when you can use them in unconventional ways, like you said about like raw whalebone, like putting out the candles and whatnot. So one of the things about these bloodfly nests is if you just attack all the little blood flies and you kill all of them, it's not going to do anything as long as that nest still stays there, because it'll just spawn more and more. Like they'll constantly come out of there until the nest is destroyed. Okay. I don't think I saw any blood amber fall from these ones, which is a shame. I wanted it. Ooh, science notes. Month of Songs. Lady Coddington brought silk scarves from her boutique, one of which Mr. Prospero used to gently strangle her. I maintained a count of her pulse and observed her breathing. When the life signs faded, we left her still for 2 full minutes before reviving her. Was it really the void she described? Have we succeeded in seeing the unseeable? My hand trembles as I recall the intensity in her eyes as she struggled to recount with broken voice what she felt during those 2 minutes. Month of Earth. I convinced our little group that less gentle methods were needed if our desire to meet the outsider was sincere. Bloodfly fever, voluntarily induced. That will be our way into the void. After procuring a few bloodflies and some Addermeyer solution, we coated our hands with the elixir before exposing them to the vivarium. The stinging was unbearable. Lady Coddington fainted immediately. I was the last to remove my hands. The fever was quick to set in. As I faded in and out of consciousness, ocean waves pounded above me. There were silhouettes in the distance and shimmering black rocks. A timeless passing in an unthinkable place, while delirium held us for a few hours. I must get back there as soon as possible, when my wounds have healed. These guys are certifiably insane. Like, willingly injecting them, subjecting themselves to bloodfly fever just to see the void. This is probably one of them. And this is just the upstairs that we encountered earlier. Excuse me. Hiccups. I can make it.
That apartment. Dust everywhere, no matter what you do.
Okay. So we got the runes that were up there.
Might be time to spring for fish cake.
This bone charm is next. Shoot. Yes, I know a bone charm is nearby. I went over here on purpose. More dead bodies, of course. Apple. Coins. Dead guard. Bone charm. Mine. Alright, don't need this one. That will get me. What? Oh, it must be duelist skill. The bullets inflict slightly more damage. Weird. Usually it puts the new ones right at the top. Letter to Bonneville. Major Bonneville, thank you again for your help. Without you, it would have been impossible to trace the final members of the Grand Guard who were with Stilton that night 3 years ago. The man had made it all the way to North Maya, if you can believe it, and was recovering at a Tivian asylum for the poor, claiming to have been all manner of strange things from night of Stilton's last social gathering. He even described an exotic, hooded figure visiting the manor. Perhaps someone connected to Stilton's disappearance. Such matters are best left to military men such as yourself, I suppose. I still have your bank agent's name and address. Rest assured, your final payment will be delivered soon. I am also sending a small flask of a liquor that is close to my heart, made from the pomace left over after wine grapes have been pressed. Please think of me as you enjoy. Yours truly, Brianna Ashworth. Alright. Ooh, silver war medal. 150. Oh. That is an intense stare. Stochastic eyes. Well, that's mine now. Just a common thief at this point. If I remember correctly, there's gonna be some witches here. Why did everything look blurry for a second? I don't think I can make it up there. I'm gonna do a quick save. Whoop. I flubbed the jump. Let me back up. Yes, I just teleported right back where I came, but I flubbed the jump. There we go. both on there talking.
Something's happened, they say. Unsafe, they say.
Just taking a look-see here. Making sure there's nobody that's going to interrupt me. Keep that latched up. I don't know how they unlatch it. If they, like, out. Well, first of all, I don't know how they left while it was latched. But I don't know how they unlatch it if it somehow is latched from the inside before they come back. Flash. Saying hi to a friend who just came back to Stream World. BRB. Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. Spread the love. Right. I'm gonna go get this bone charm, I think. Fleet Fighter. Alright, what does that one get me? Your movement is not slowed when your weapons are unsheathed. That is actually a really good one to have. Now we move so much faster. And yoink. A reflection on my journey to the Pandician continent. By Anton Sokolov. Oh, this is one that we already read in the boat. We were only miles from the shore, but our approach was marred by numerous hidden reefs and jagged rocks. They lay shallow, and we spied 2 vessels that had succumbed to them some time ago. The remaining crew was uncharacteristically silent as we edged by the weathered wrecks. The first mate declared a particularly narrow channel to be unpassable, but the captain dispatched 10 crewmen on the submerged corral with sledgehammers. Thereafter, each chest deep in water, they pulled the Antonia Aquilo into the tiny channel with ropes. It proved a marvelous solution. However, just as we were about to lower the rope ladders, tragedy struck as the men were beset by a school of reef-dwelling eels. Apparently, their toxic bites were quite painful. From the railing, we could see them swarming the men, who begged us for aid before succumbing to the paralytic effects of the toxin. Within moments, all were still in the water. We continue on in silence, and by sunset we have cleared the bars and put anchor in a bay with red rock beach and emerald overgrowth beyond. I confess I was nearly giddy to put my feet on land again. The smell of ripening fruits and warm earth was as pleasant to me as a cherished vintage. We gathered wood, made fires, and indulged in some tinned meat and lemons from our stores. How good it was to slumber on the beach with the crackle of embers nearby, having finally escaped the cramped and damp quarters of our vessel. We took turns with the watch and passed a quiet night. At last, we stood on Pandician soil. Ding. Alright, let's continue robbing these people blind, shall we? I mean, totally patriotically, you know, apprehending funds that we need to restore our daughter to the throne. That's what I meant, right? Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, mine. Conservatory closure extended. A representative from the Royal Conservatory confirmed today that the site's closure has been extended once again, with no promise of when it might reopen. Curator Brianna Ashworth could not be reached for comment. Readers will remember that an infestation of mites in the Roseboro exhibit forced the closure early 6 months ago, though there have been rumors that no exterminators have been hired. The Roseboro exhibit was to be a prestigious event sponsored by the Academy of Natural Philosophy, with the hopes of attracting numerous experts and guest lecturers from across the Isles. This important expedition is now on hold indefinitely due to the extended closure. For hopeful visitors, there is nothing to do but wait for further word. Indeed. I'm going to self-hydrate here. Yeah, rats. So in the first game, the environmental hazard, or the theme, was a rat's plague. And that is part of why Corvo, one of his abilities, is to summon a swarm of rats. It is a carryover from the first game. And even still, like, you know, rats aren't going to go away when the plague goes away, so you'll still find rats every now and again. And very rarely, you'll find them in big enough swarms that they will actually attack people, including yourself. Alright, another safe. Ching. Oh, hello. Coin of 5, coin of 2, coin, and coin of 2. A note from Curry Rockburn. 25th day, month of Timber, 1851. Janice, you'll find everything in the safe. I've written the combination in the usual place. You know where to look in the office. I changed all the safe tumblers recently because I feel like I'm being followed. Pretty sure I heard shuffling and heavy breathing from somewhere nearby in the dark while I was closing up the office for the night. It's not the Grand Guard this time, but we're being watched for certain. It's probably safer to postpone our next gathering. Can you warn the others? I'll leave for Calero once I'm done with today's clients. Corey Brockburn. Alright, so there is a safe code somewhere in the office. Where are we going to find it? That'll be somewhere around here. Oh, it's right here. Alright. 5 was at an 8 and a 1. The thing about these safes is if I just hit 5, and hit this one to 1. Unfortunately, you can't dial it backwards. That sucks. And then I just keep spinning this one till it opens. I actually managed to get to 9 before it registered. And then I can rob them blind. Gathering the Regenters. Second day, month of Timber, 1851. All members present. Primary agenda: possible actions for the upcoming anniversary of the death of Empress Jessamine Caldwin. Proposal by Corey Rockburn. Letter to the Karnaca Gazette, explaining that while her murder was reprehensible, the end results may have been positive for the Empire. Action: motion approved unanimously. Scumbags. Proposal by Janice Tynes. Members wear Lord Regent's crest armbands on the anniversary. Objection by Corey Rockburn. Lovely idea, but it may hurt business for members who need to deal with many clients on that day. Clients might find it in poor taste. Action: 4 votes against, 3 votes in favor. Motion rejected. Counter proposal by Janice Tynes. Armbands could be worn on the 15th anniversary of the Lord Regent's unlawful arrest. It was quite lawful, actually. Action: motion approved unanimously. Proposal by Theodore Bennett's. Campaign demanding wider deployment of the Wall of Light, brought back into use in Karnaca by Duke Luca Bell. The boldest measures are the safest. Action: vote delayed until word comes from Grand Guard leadership, collecting facts on reductions in crime across Karnaca. Proposal added to agenda for next gathering. Cocktails and spirits served. Wow. Scumbags. Scummy yummy yum bags. Alright, I don't think there's anything else that's of importance or lootable here. I'm just gonna open up. Oh. Well, fine then. Don't let me out.
You wouldn't miss that.
Taxes, 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 taxes. You get when you have a scumlord like Luca Bell as your duke. I'm not sure if these guys will react negatively to me or not.
When the Grand Guard go into the place and see it packed solid with blood flies, they burn the building to the ground, and the ones on either side.
They may just smoke flash it. Either way, the jewels will be ruined. We're not getting our money, are we?
Have some faith. It'll just be more complicated than I thought it would be.
The Dukes let the blood flies get out of hand this year. Am I ever gonna catch a break?
Nobody's looking out for nobody right now. We'll go back tonight and dig the jewels out. After that, we'll make a quick exit from Karnaca.
Interesting. Don't mind me, I'm just taking out a heart right in front of everybody. Do I not have the mask optics? I guess I don't. Oh, I remember what's here. That's a trap. It's a trap I'm totally gonna spring, but it's still a trap. So, if we look over this way, there's a dude that's hiding right there. Where are the other ones? I think I bypassed some of them because I went up and over. Oh yeah, there's another one right there. I think there's a third in there somewhere. So, purely by virtue of having played this before, I know what to look out for those traps. Means I'm gonna go up and over this way. Carefully climb down this way.
Someone should have come through already.
Hush. You'll tip off the mark.
How long are we gonna wait for some lost aristocrat to stumble through?
Won't as it takes. You want to eat, right?
Maybe this ain't such a good spot for an ambush.
Guards shaking people down. More blood flies this year. People just ain't walking the streets anymore.
Getting hard to make a decent living.
Alright, wonder if I can do this in time. Okay, he didn't notice her. He probably would have noticed her fall. So it was probably for the best that I used it on both of them. But these are members of the Howler Gang. Not very nice people. Yeah, they even have Howler dust. Yeah, you guys have a nap right there. Incendiary boats with me. Go. Now, it is super unfortunate. Oh, he almost saw me. Yeet.
What was that? When the void was that noise?
Okay, he sees me from over there.
Shit!
He almost saw me from over there.
Hello? Anybody? Don't make... Whole place. I don't have time for that. Shit! Wait.
Okay.
Look, I think his head is worth a fortune. Running.
Well, I'm not getting ghost on this one.
I know you're here somewhere. Come on, I don't have time for games.
You've got all the time in the world. Shut up.
You finally know your place.
Wow. He just casually said it belonged in the trash. Have fun with those dead bodies. You scumbag. I think She is the last one. Yale, you screwed me. Paolo. Yeah, that's a weird name to pronounce. Paolo was where you said he'd be, alone. We knifed him 50 times. He was choking blood when I drove a rail spike through the side of his head. Then he was just gone. And there ain't nothing but a bunch of rats. Not sure how you pulled that trick, but you must have known, scumbag. Next day, Paolo came back with 10 howlers. Got us a couple at a time. Dragged Brenda and Toma screaming into the street and bashed out all their teeth with a hammer. Put that crazy powder in their eyes. Had them seeing terrible things, screaming like carnival clowns, mouth all running red. Then Paolo gave the word, and they shot him with those screaming darts they use. I stayed hid. So, I'm finished, asshole. I bet you were working with the howlers all along. I swear if I ever see you again, I'll stick ya. Sabine. Alright, well. All this for that rune. Whoa. Why is the game suddenly, like, the quality's dipping every now and again? You guys notice that? Okay, that is a huge like spike. Here. My entire computer is slowing down. If I lose stream, I will be back shortly. Let's see what's causing the slowdown. It's taking me forever. Oh, I am capping out on RAM. What is using everything? Alright, give me a moment. I'm going to get this sorted out here.
Alright, here we go.
This might have effects on the stream. I'll fix them if they do happen. All right, that freed up a bit. I'm about to lose the chat view for a moment. Oh, it looks like you guys lost me for a moment as well. And the bitrate is all over the place. I'm going to lose chat view for a moment. I'm going to kill Firefox because that is using a decent chunk of RAM.
Mwah. Mwah.
Not sure if you guys can still hear me or not. Just going through, making sure everything's good. Apparently Firefox doesn't have like a dedicated process. Interesting. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? Close that for now. Restore the chat. Welcome back. I can see chat again. So I'm gonna actually do a quick reboot of my computer. So we'll just, I would leave it at a BRB screen, but I don't have a dual stream PC set up. So I'm going to do a quick reboot. The stream will go offline for maybe about 5 minutes, and then I will be back. I'm just going to drop a quick save game here. There we go. So that way we can continue where we left off. Because for some reason, even though I got 16 gigs of RAM, I was just completely maxed out on RAM usage. So we'll be about 5 minutes. I will be back. And then we will go from there. We can't even see OBS right now. There we go. So I will be